Okay, first up, we have me facing Allie. She's playing a Ruby Amethyst Bounce Control from Rise of the Floodborn. It has none of the new Into the Inkland cards yet. I am playing a Ruby Sapphire, but she starts by inking and playing an Olaf and passing the turn. I ink a Queen of Hearts and play out a Felicia Always Hungry. She inks a Minnie Mouse and plays a Madame Mim Snake, bringing back her Minnie. I ink and play a Cogsworth Talking Clock, which gives my Reckless characters the ability to quest for 1 lore. I then quest with Felicia, taking me to 1. Pass the turn. She takes a second to think what she wants to do. She then inks an Olaf, and for 2, plays the Forbidden Mountain, and then quests for 1 with the Madame Mim Snake. I throw my Felicia into her Madame Mim Snake, clearing them both out the field. I then ink a Queen of Hearts. Exert 3 to play down a Kakamara, which makes her lose her 1 lore, sending her back down to 0. Back to the other side. I think she inked a Queen of Hearts there and plays out the Queen's Castle Mirror Room, which gives the ability to characters that are there to draw a card, I believe, when they're there when your turn starts. I ink. And I play, well, I take that back. I know it was a Maui, but I end up inking the Maui instead, and I pay 1 for a popsicle. These are just casual games, so it doesn't really matter. I then pay 3 for a Gyro Gear Loose, which has the ability to allow my characters to, he allows items to come back from the discard. I then quest for 2 and pass the turn. She quests, or pays 3, and plays out Maleficent to draw a card. She also gains 3 from her 2 locations, taking her to 3. She moves her Maleficent to the Queen's Castle, and she also is actually at 4. So I ink, and then I pay 5 for a Maui, running it into the Queen's Castle, doing 6 damage, and then I decide to finish it off with the Gyro Gear Loose. I then quest for 2, taking me to 7 with the Cogsworth and the Kakamora. She inks a Minnie Mouse. And plays out the Queen of Hearts. Impulsive Ruler swings at my Kakamora, taking it out, and also sending herself to the discard. She then quests for 1 with Maleficent, taking her to 5. So I throw down a Hiram Flavisham and pop my Popsicle and draw 2 cards. I then swing the Maui into the Forbidden Mountain. And then I use Gyro Gear Loose's ability to grab an item from my discard, and I put my top Popsicle on the top of my deck. I then ink a Mulan Imperial Soldier and play down a Montanui, which allows characters when they're there and banished to go to the Inkwell, which is great. I'm using it instead of Fishbone Quill. I am running no quills anymore. I've actually playing no items. I will be putting up a description of this deck very soon. So she throws down the Lady Tremaine, and I decide to get rid of the gyro gear loose, and I draw into the popsicle. I gain 1 from the Montanui, taking me to 8. I pay 1 for the popsicle to draw. I then pay 2 for a Hey, and I move Hey to Montanui, making her lose a lore, sending her down to 4. I then move both Cogsworth and Hiram Flavisham to Montanui as well. I then swing my Maui at her Maleficent, receiving 2 damage. I then ink the Queen of Hearts, the 5-drop, and then I quest with both Cogsworth and Hey, taking me to 11 because of the Hiram, Cogsworth, and the Hey. She plays down a Queen of Hearts and then hard casts a Friends from the other side, and she was very upset because she was drawing into a lot of uninkables that was making it not easy for her to play. She then takes out my Montanui with her Lady Tremaine and Queen of Hearts, and then inks and passes the turn. I ready my characters and my ink. I pay 5 for a Queen of Hearts, and her special ability is that when your characters challenge another character, you can draw a card. So that's basically my draw engine along with the Samaritan Talisman. So I run Maui into the Lady Tremaine. When he gets banished, I get to draw 2. 1 off the Sumerian Talisman and 1 off the Queen of Hearts. I then quest with Hey, Hiram, and Cogsworth for 3, and I pop the Sumerian Talisman to with Hiram's ability, and then I quest and pass the turn. She then quests for 1 with the Queen of Hearts, and then throws down the Be Prepared, which was definitely something that needed to be done, as I was at 14 lore to her 5 at this point. So I pay 3 for a Maui's Fishhook, and then I pay 4 for a Hiram Flavisham popping the Fishhook to draw 2. And she didn't like that. She said, "What a waste of a Fishhook." I actually only run 1 in my deck. So I'm just counting my ink that I used to make sure what I have left. I pay 2 for Gaston, then I pass the turn. She pays 3 for Agrabah, and then passes back the turn again. So I pay 3 for a Gyro Gear Loose. I then run the Gaston and the Hiram into the Agrabah, taking it off the field because I do not want to get her getting any lore off any of the locations, especially Agrabah, as it gets 2. And then pass the turn. Montanui has come in handy in this game. She then plays down Lady Tremaine, so I decide to get rid of the Gaston, as he's done his job. I then use Gyro Gear Loose's ability to throw the popsicle back on the top of my deck again. I then pay like 7 to bring out Scar Vicious Cheater. And then 3 for a Kakamura, making her lose a lore, taking her down to 4, I believe. She then quests for 2, taking her to 6 with her Lady Tremaine, and throws down the Be Prepared again. I continue on my turn with paying 1 for a popsicle, then 3 for a Sumerian talisman. Score now is 15 for me and 6 for Allie. Or 7. Oh yeah, 6, sorry. She pays 3 for Agrabah and passes the turn. I pay 2 for the Queen of Hearts and pass the turn back. She gains 2, taking her to 8. She pays 2 for the Forbidden Mountain. I then run my Maui at her Agrabah, taking it out. And she swings her Maui at my Maui. I play out the Jolly Roger for 1, which gives my characters the ability to rush when they are there, and pirates can move there for free. I swing my Queen of Hearts, and I pretty much know at this point that it's over when she gets really pissed off right there. So she's actually at 9 right now because it's the one from the Forbidden Mountain. I then play out Kakamora, taking her back down to 8. And that's when she folds.
What does the fox say? Getting